Welcome in to the Meltdown. We are back with yet another Meltdown draft today, and this time we're picking the best cereals to have ever been produced, while also being something that you can buy off the shelf today. Which choices will be the first to be taken off the aisle? We shall see. We are one day away from Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia coming back to the TNR Arena, and we have two of the competitors that are set to do battle on the show with us today, and lots of Batman-themed films are being released and re-released into theaters this month, all while The Penguin is set to flock to Max on Thursday night. So which 5 non-Joker villainous portrayals stand out to John the most? We will find out on today's Gotham City Set Luntz's list. It's all happening right here on The Meltdown as we are presented by MyBookie, broadcasting live from the Culver studio.
Two big boys in a tiny studio, teaching you and me about everything they know that makes sound a meltdown. It's the meltdown, time for the meltdown, coming for the meltdown. Let's start the show.
Welcome into the Meltdown. So happy to have you here around the pop culture campfire that we do daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. We appreciate all of those that are live with us at this very moment. If you are watching on the replay, we would appreciate that thumbs up from you at some point throughout the course of this show. And obviously, if you have not yet subscribed, we would love to have you be a part of the party right here on the Meltdown. I am Tim Melton. My co-host is Mr. John Lunsford, who I still feel like is emotionally in NYC right now as we speak.
I forgot to turn my microphone on. Yes, I am. Sorry, I was tweeting out the show. Yes, I'm still in New York City.
Okay, I've heard rumblings, haven't gotten the full story. You were attacked by some sort of rat that trained a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's exactly what it was.
Tim, I think there's a song about New York.
There is?
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs about New York.
Yeah.
Please don't. I like New
Are we
York.
thinking the same one?
I like New York. Please don't.
Shallow's
In the New York.
Are we talking about the Taylor Swift song?
No.
Are we talking about the Frank Sinatra song?
No.
Are we
talking
talking about
Empire State of Mind?
Empire State of Mind.
And I thought you were going to go Sinatra first. I was going to say nobody say anything and start singing whatever you're thinking about.
Yeah, we should have.
In New York, in New York. Anyway, you got attacked by some sort of rat. Tell me that story.
So we're, look, I love New York as much as anybody, but there are a lot of rats in New York.
And Chicago.
I will admit, in Chicago. We were walking down the street. So Sunday night, we didn't really have any plans. We had plans pretty much the entire time except Sunday night. We were going to come home Sunday night, but didn't know we went to the Yankees game, didn't know when it was going to end.
I didn't know that you went to the Yankees game.
Yeah, Yankees Red Sox.
That's a great deal, by the way. Behind home plate, about 15 rows up,
No way.
$100.
Yeah, $100 to sit back there. It was nice.
Incredible.
Are you rooting for the Yankees or the Red Sox?
I was Rob Lowe in the stands with the NFL hat on. Look, I tried to make the Red Sox my fake baseball team for a long time, and I only really came off of it because Tim and I made the pact to be A's fans for some reason.
Correct.
Go A's.
Yes.
Athletics, yeah.
It's the one team we can agree upon. Everything else is war.
That's fair.
And I only really did that because of the Titans, dropping the Titans, and Tim and I needed something to bond over. But
correct.
Before that, I was a massive, massive Red Sox fan.
I'm wearing green today for the A's.
Yeah, and I got my A's hat on, so we're there.
Look at that.
And I only did that because I sang the national anthem at Fenway Park in 2004 before a Red Sox Angels game. So it's like, well, I got to be a Red Sox fan now, right? That makes sense. But I honestly don't care because it's baseball, and really, truly, neither one of us care about baseball. But anyway,
Noted.
A rat. Probably about 15 years ago, I had to go up there last second. So the main gaming league I played in was based out of New York City. And so we did some events up there, and I worked for them for a little bit too. And I would have to go over there kind of on a whim. And I had to stay at a Holiday Inn one time, and it was not a good Holiday Inn, kind of in a weird part of town. And I had a rat. I was sitting on the edge of the bed. I just got out of the shower watching TV, and I looked through, and I had about cracked that big through my door, and I saw a rat go whoop and loop right back out and go out. And it freaked me out. I had to stuff a towel up under the door, and I changed hotels that next night. That's the only encounter I've ever had with a rat. And everybody's like, New York's full of rats. They're everywhere. And I know they are, but like I just haven't like had an encounter with a rat as many times as I've been up there. Until this time,
You're really selling the place, by the way.
we were walking down the street, and so we didn't have any plans that night. We were going to fly out, but like the only flight you could get out was like early in the afternoon, and we knew we wanted to like have at least a day there. So it's like, let's just leave Monday morning. So Sunday night, we didn't really have any plans. So I was like, the thing I love to do most in New York is just wander. Like there's so much stuff in New York, you just cannot ever accomplish everything.
Hold on. You got back yesterday?
Yeah.
You flew in yesterday morning?
I got off the plane.
He got here at like 1:30.
I got off the plane about 30 minutes later. I was here.
Oh, wow.
Because that's how dedicated I am to this place.
Thank you.
But so we just the thing I love to do more than anything is just wander because there's so much stuff. You can just wander around and go somewhere new every day, and 10 years from now you won't even come close to have done everything. So I said let's just wander around and find something. Well, our mistake was it was like Mexican Independence Day or something like that was this past weekend. I only know because the UFC fight was like very like themed around that. They did it at the Sphere and all, but they had a parade of some sort or some kind of celebration in Times Square, and our hotel was in Times Square, and we got out just in time right before it started. And by the time we looped back around the block, there were 100,000 people crammed in there for some Mexican heritage something. I honestly don't remember what it was. It was impossible to get back to our hotel, so we just started wandering around, and we went past a construction site.
He calls it wandering. I call it looking for secrets. That's what I call it.
I like that.
Got to find some secrets.
Looking for
They're always out there.
So there's a construction site. You tell they had torn down a building. They're about to build a new one. And there's a fence that had like that green kind of like, it's not like a tarp, but
Netting almost?
netting,
Like a construction.
yeah, the best way I know to explain
zone.
it is what Alabama has around their practice field, and so we're walking down, and I can hear, we passed a dog, because my wife's always like, dog, it's like, squirrel every time she sees a dog. And so she made a comment about seeing the dog, and I heard some scratching, and I thought, okay, maybe that's the dog, like clawing on the fence. Maybe he smells something in there. And I turn around, and it's not the dog. The dog's long gone. And I was like, I don't know what that is. And I can hear some scratching. And then out of nowhere, just hauls ass out of under the fence, a rat
gosh.
right towards my foot and just slams into my foot. I don't know. I don't think it was coming for me. I think something had made it scurry out, and it was just like heading for the hills, and it smacked my foot and turned around and ran off back, basically back towards the fence, but kind of at an angle and kind of around into the fence. And
Those things carry disease,
They
you know.
do.
it didn't bite me or anything, but
How big was it?
it slammed into me. It was probably about that big. I mean, I didn't get a huge
that's like
look at it because it kind of scared me, and Laurel saw it. I was like, I just jumped up, and her screaming is what scared me as much as it was that hitting my foot, because, I mean, you'll bump into people and all in New York all the time. That didn't scare me as much as Laurel screaming bloody murder in my ear right next to me, because she was like on this side of me. We're walking down the street, and it attacked from this way. It just like ran into my foot and then scurried back in.
So hold on, you're saying that the woman who wants a full-size Art the Clown in y'all's house every single day, that tries to terrorize you with all of your different Samhainophobia fears that you have, actually is the one who got the most scared on this trip?
It was startling. So I don't know if it's like, oh my gosh, it's a rat. I'd never want to be near a rat ever in my life. It was more just startling. She saw it. She's way more attentive than me. She's the kind of person, like, when I'm in New York, there's certain places, like when I go, I kind of lead the way because I'm like, I want to do this, I want to do this. New York's my place, LA is her place. Like, I'd follow her wherever she goes in LA because I like LA fine, but like, it's not my place, it's your place. And New York's the same way, so she's just kind of following.
It's like a Hallmark movie, really.
That is so tender.
It is.
Mr. New York meets Mrs. LA, and then all of a sudden they're having to decide, like, I guess we'll just move to the Midwest. We'll just
I guess so.
We'll
Kansas.
get some,
Chicago's kind
some
of
kettle
in
corn at the state fair and just call it even.
We'll go to Salina, Kansas, or wherever Lance was.
We just wrote a Hallmark movie in about 30
Make sure
seconds.
to stop at
And
the
it would do
Waldorf
wonderful
Astoria.
during the holiday season.
Oh, it would get huge ratings.
You know what? Kansas actually would work for that because that's where the Kansas City
When
Chiefs
is
are.
the Kansas City Chiefs love story Hallmark movie coming out? Do we know that? I've seen promotion for it.
Okay, we're going to get controversial here out the gate.
Uh-oh.
I think, and Lunsford, I'm curious if you agree with this, I feel like in the last month or so, Miss Taylor's, I hesitate to use the word likability, but reception has gone down a little bit. What would you say about that?
I think.
I don't disagree.
Really?
I don't disagree at all.
Oh.
I don't know that
Is it oversaturation?
I think, oversaturation
Yeah,
is the word.
So the thing is, with her tour, we're coming to the end of it.
Yep.
She's coming back to America now. So I feel like sometimes you have like your U.S. tour, your worldwide tour, and then you're kind of done. Like she's like, I'm coming back to America. So it's like, oh, there's more going on. Like people are finding tickets again. Well, then now because it's not a sham relationship, it's a real relationship. She's at every single football game now. And
according to that document, we'll find out at the end of this month.
Yeah. We'll really find out this week if she comes to Atlanta because that'll be their first road game. But like, I do think it's oversaturation. I don't know that she's fallen off. I think there are starting to be other people coming on, like within the music industry, because she's getting towards the end of like her tour, that you're still hearing about it, but you're over it. But at the same time, there's like other names. Sabrina Carpenter is kind of taking over a little bit. Chaperone is kind of taking over a little bit. Dua Lipa can't quite get over the hump. But
she was on 60
Minutes this past week. But I think there's a lot of factors to where I don't know that she's coming down. Some people are coming up, and you just see so much of it. You want it to come down, whether she actually is coming down or not. So there's a lot of things that kind of make it where I understand thinking that she's come down. I don't know that she necessarily has come down.
I agree.
It's a weird game with her.
I think I'm seeing more on different social media platforms, TikTok specifically. And obviously the algorithm is going to make you think a certain way because it's like a vacuum chamber on TikTok.
That is correct.
But with that being said, I'm seeing more of like, okay, girl,
Didn't
we get
Laurel
it.
say eat some grass? Isn't that what she says to like
touch grass?
People? That's it.
There we go.
That makes more sense.
That is the phrase.
It's not Les Miles.
All that to say, I do think like the ticket pricing I've heard again is like this big thing and people are getting frustrated all over again. And I felt like we've been doing this now for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think she knows it's got to come to an end.
And I also think like another thing when it comes to talk about like Sabrina Carpenter, all that coming up, I also think her big song that she just won a bunch of VMAs for and will probably get nominated for Grammys for and everything was with Post Malone. Post Malone has now done his own thing to where he Post Malone was nominated probably more than anybody at the VMAs, and I assume somewhat will follow suit at the Grammys because he has this song with Morgan Wallen off his album that's big, and he has a song with Taylor Swift off her album that's big. He's nominated for all of them. And yes, Taylor Swift is probably going to win more of those because that pairing in general, I feel like is more award winning than what him and Morgan Wallen would be. But like also he just started his tour and he has a ton of people he's collaborated with. So he's starting to come up as well. So it's not just like it's Taylor Swift with Post Malone. It's like it's Taylor Swift with Post Malone.
Yes.
And they're kind of on the same level.
You talk about let's go ahead.
I would say he's also in a position right now where he's extremely likable by so many different people.
Yeah.
Like he has all of country music. He'll be at the CMA Awards this year. He had so many different facets of people. And I feel like that is what's hurting Taylor right now is that her likability with some groups has never been there, but I feel like it's going down a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Status check on sort of where we are in pop music.
Holiday Touchdown, A Chief's Love Story, Saturday, November 30th.
Iron Bowl.
So if that document is real,
That is
it might come out a month after it's all over.
So that will definitely. Who's definitely watching that? I do feel like we need to do a
100%.
review. Tyler,
I just love how I just pulled the trailer up. And the first thing I see
I've sat through a lot this
Mama
year,
Kelsey
but I'm
so
passing on that.
she's a part of it.
Is that really her?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
so are you
Travis and
willing to
Jason's
do
mom.
this on behalf of the channel?
No.
No. This is where you draw the line. You'll watch not another church movie, but you will not watch the Kansas City
I'll
Chiefs.
watch this because
Love
it'll be
Story.
so cheesy and bad that it's
Yeah, no.
it's like watching
I'll
The
pass.
Room or something.
Will you produce it at least? Will you produce the review?
Yeah, I'll sit here. I don't care if that gets spoiled.
No, you know
for
he's
me.
going to sit here. We're all going to be sitting here talking about it, and he's like, I think I do need to go watch.
No,
that.
he's not.
No.
If we couldn't get him to see Inside Out,
moment.
We
and
should
It's
do
a
a
Inside Out-
watch
moment.
party.
I mean, now you're really talking. here.
Yeah, but
Well,
we can't be that Saturday,
Can't be that Saturday,
obviously.
that's
right.
Or Sunday.
No.
Probably maybe that Monday.
We'll just do it Monday live on the air.
December
we'll just do a watch party
1st.
with Tyler being forced to watch.
I
the
think we
Chiefs'
should
love
consider
story.
that.
Tyler, I can tell there's some things where he is not willing to budge, and this is one of them. And I respect that. Stay strong.
Get the little apple martini thing involved, and he might sway his answer.
We will work on that. Okay. Speaking of pairings, we have tag team trivia tomorrow.
Yes, we do.
And both Tyler and EG are competing tomorrow, but not on the same team.
Nope.
EG has been the only one this entire time that's been loyal to her team and her team's philosophy. Everybody else, I want to break up. I want to look at greener pastures. I want to go over here. And EG has been like, no, I'm committed to this team pennant race, and Ush is committed to it as well, and no one's going to divide us. Tyler, on the other hand, has also been preaching that same thing, but was offered a single rose by Brian Pavlik, and all of a sudden he accepted it. I mean, it was a very touching thing where I didn't know what direction he was going, and then when he mentioned your name, I mean, you were genuinely like, oh man, that's one of the nicest things ever. And so we have two different philosophies coming in. Tyler's on the rebound here with Pavlik. Pavlik is looking to just make it to the second round of one of these matchups if he possibly can.
The next round.
Correct. I didn't want to say the next round, so I said the second round because during tag team trivia last week, I said to Jim and Lance, if you don't get this question right, you don't get to go to the next round. And then everyone in the chat's like, oh, he said the thing. And I'm like, oh my God.
You said it.
Exactly.
Word, yeah.
So anyway, I was trying to avoid that.
I apologize.
And then you did that. So that's 10 points deducted for you right out of the gate.
Gryffindor.
No, let's talk a little bit
Hufflepuff
about the
today.
makeup tomorrow. I actually want to start.
Hufflepuff Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw,
I messed
yeah.
it up.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's
Move
okay.
on.
I'm actually a Slytherin.
You're a Ravenclaw, EG?
No, I'm actually a
she's just wearing
Slytherin.
blue.
Oh.
You're a Slytherin?
Yeah, I know. I actually retook the test like 2 weeks ago for
That
Hallie.
explains a lot, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it does.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
hey, I didn't mean it as a shot. I've read the books.
Thank you.
I always talk about ambition and everything.
Spud has not read the books.
Thank you, Tyler.
John,
Or in the movie.
which team are you higher on? Is it Pavlik and the world champion Tyler? Or is it EG and Ush? Because you've had a chance to see both of these teams unite since the draft. And I'm curious as to, is it the unknown or the known that you have more faith in?
Well, as the odds maker, the known is clearly the path I would lean in that direction. The more intriguing story, though, is watching Tyler as world champion and Brian as somebody who's, I feel like, been very close and ultimately doesn't play the game wrong and doesn't play the game poorly or anything, just hasn't quite gotten to like championship level yet. And of course had a bad teammate as the person that beat me this past time. But I think Brian has a lot to prove and Tyler has finally proven it. So he still has a lot to prove by keeping it because I came in as champion last time and absolutely just absolutely blew it. And so I think, there's a lot more pressure there. So it makes it more intriguing to watch that because I know what to expect from EG and Ush.
There are 3 people, I guess 4, throughout the history of Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia that have heard every question asked. Me, John Lunsford, Tyler, and Brian Pavlik.
Correct.
Brian Pavlik has listened to every single question that's ever been asked in Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia. E.g., are you worried that Tyler and Brian having that type of film study is going to affect you and Ush? Because y'all just sort of pop in whenever your names are called. Y'all aren't really monitoring. That's not meant to be a shot. It's the truth.
Well, I don't think.
Give me one question that was asked this past week.
I was producing.
She ran the board this past
She
week.
was,
That's
she was
right.
running board.
Yeah.
Give me one question that was asked. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I
Were
don't.
you listening, though? No.
I was, because I would have gotten the Jane Austen and the Greenland versus Australia. That was an intriguing question. All I had to say, the questions are so different each week. You can't figure out a pattern.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's I think, let me gather my thoughts. The strength would be strategy. You get to learn strategy. You can see how the people are doing it, see what works, see what doesn't work, and also learn how people operate in the game. That is a big benefit that they have going into it. Question-wise, I don't think there's a benefit. Too many broad topics. So we will pop in, as you say, and we will do what we do best. Teammates.
You guys were close to getting a win
So
for the
close.
titles, and this is a little bit of a revenge tour now. to
Yeah,
be able
you
to
could
climb
say.
that mountain.
You could say.
Do you feel like you've ever swayed from this being your team, that
No.
you've ever looked the other direction?
No, when you go into a job interview, I've actually never gone into a formal job interview, but hypothetically when that happens and they ask you what your biggest weakness is,
Yeah?
too loyal. I'm too loyal. I see things through to the end. When sometimes for self-preservation efforts, I should bail.
Why don't you just say I'm too perfect in that answer? Like, why don't you say I'm too perfect?
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly. So with that being said, I'm loyal almost to a fault at times.
Tyler, week over week, which is the tougher lineup? Is it what we saw in week 1, or is it what is going into tomorrow? Because also Reed and Ryan Brown are also competing in tomorrow's matchup.
So before we started this season and we had the lineup set, I thought week 2 was going to be the tougher matchup by far, no question. Until we saw week 1, that was a very close matchup, and I was not expecting it. It could go either way.
What's going to be the strategy for tomorrow, you and Pavlik? Because I don't think have y'all done reps? Have y'all done practice? Has he got you running laps? What's going on?
We've been talking a little strategy.
Okay.
We've been talking strategy, little psychology.
Because the strategy is a huge part of the game.
Oh yeah,
It is. It is. And I think with them, I will be curious the most about their team chemistry because that's what me and Ush have going for us.
oh, we've got that in spades.
John, you've been very passionate about having sort of this blanket tag team strategy that you think is unfallible, but you have never made it to winner's circle while trying to execute this strategy. What is it?
To be fair, the first time, it was not my fault. The strategy was not executed. And
That was
this,
bad.
this past time,
It was the game's fault this time.
it's hard to play much better than we played this last time.
There were no notes. I mean,
I will tell. That's the thing. I mean, go study Supreme Court history and People magazine, I guess, because that's the only things that we missed. And it was an 8-point loss at the end. That's really on the main reason we lost was the 8-point swing. But
Opponent wager, I mean, it was the difference maker in
we
the
were up
matchup.
by 4, and then we were down by 4 by missing a question. It wasn't just a 3-point question. So the wheel's going to screw you. That's obviously a piece of advice. Number 1, I'd give to everybody. But I will tell both of you, my strategy from the first tag team trivia will work again this time.
It's just a question of which one of them is going to implement it.
Yes.
see, we talk about this mystic strategy. Have you ever actually vocalized what the strategy is?
Yeah, John.
That would kind of defeat the point of it.
It would defeat the point. I believe you.
Here's exactly
I know
how I'm gonna
Tyler.
beat you.
I know Tyler knows exactly what my strategy was last time, and Tyler, I'm telling you, it will work again.
I believe you.
In EG, I'm telling you, it will work again. You know what it is, but it will work again.
You have
I don't
been
know what it
in
is.
conversations
You have-
specifically
yes.
describing the strategy.
I am
he's
not
talking
saying
about.
anything else though.
This is like the Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club. Like
What a movie reference from
I
EG.
was not expecting
Round
that.
of applause, EG
Thank
with
you.
a movie reference.
Thank you.
You've seen Fight Club?
No.
Oh,
No chance.
I just like how Brian says, yes, share the strategy that gets a second at best, John. I'm sorry, the strategy that beat you last time. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, you had somebody on his team taking half-court shots every time they got the ball.
But somehow nailed a half-court shot this past week.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, to be
1
fair,
for 20?
To be fair, he nailed a half-court shot in a basket that was the size of this room. But you know,
the intrigue for tomorrow is just intense, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. How important, I've never asked this question of any opponent really, but how important is the order that you answer the questions in?
Oh, I know what place I want to be in. And we've won in that place both times.
Okay, well,
Yep.
that makes it real simple. I mean, the
I will say we were
guys are
first.
constantly in the second position.
We were first, but I do think it was a massive advantage for Lance and Jim to go third in our game.
In y'all's game, yeah.
Because like we lost the toss, so we had to go first, and they won and picked third. And like I do firmly believe it helped them.
If y'all had won the toss, you would have picked third,
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure. And then Tyler, do you care what position you're in, or does that not really
I mean,
a big factor?
I like third, but
See where
I
the
don't
point
know
goes.
why we've always hated going second when that is
Second's
really
not awful.
It's just as fine as going first.
Yeah.
But it's what it is.
Second, I think actually strategically has a lot of power because you have information on what one team's already done, and you know what you have to do to the other team.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You get a little bit of
get
the
a little-
best of like being able to plan and react.
Correct.
Rather than being forced into a situation or planning for something that is not going to happen.
Bingo. You have more audibles that you can call at the line of scrimmage going second, I feel
Yes.
like.
And that is the importance of watching the game before you play because I can guarantee Reed and Brown are not listening to this right now. And if they win the coin toss, they have no strategy with placement.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think that they have any sort of
And I say
preference.
that they could prove me wrong. But you have to pay attention to the little things with this game.
This was a straight up trivia game where it was just question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. There was no other strategy.
Spud would not have lost ever.
I understand that. I get that. He's only lost, 5 matches in a row? Look, my question is, who would
Quit
be
asking him about Harry Potter,
correct
Tim.
and Christmas? Who would be the single participant tomorrow that you would have the most faith in to be able? Who's like the MVP of tomorrow? Who's the anchor of any of these
Ush.
teams?
Ush.
Not Ryan Brown.
Not a large enough sample size. His small sample size has been fine.
It was amazing what he was doing.
But it's really 2-0 is what he is. And that's fine, but like I love spreadsheets. He when he was called to the plate, it was twice and he got both of them right. So he's batting 1,000 right now, but it's not a large enough sample size. Ush, when it comes down to it, has done well with the questions and the stuff he's missed. You can tell it's something that like his brain just wasn't in the right place to answer the question. He was close. There's a lot of things with him, and obviously he understands the game as well. But like, I would say Ush. He also seems to have, I think, I don't want to call it useless knowledge.
He is the broadest.
But I do think he's probably the broadest. Like with Lance, I've said Lance has a lot of useless knowledge, which will help him, and I do think it even helped him this past week. But I do think Ush has a broad spectrum he can answer from.
Brown and Reed, neither one of them have ever won a world championship. Pavlik's never won a world championship. Tyler just is fresh off his first world championship. Both EG and Ush have been there, and they've been consistently in the mix to be there again. But for some reason, Ush can't get past that next level in order to be able to become a multi-time champion. So Tyler, EG, and Ush, no matter what words are exchanged between those three, they've all really completed the same amount of feats. And Tyler, out of all of y'all, and I'm going to say this, had the best tag team showing out of all of y'all too.
Let me tell you this.
Yeah, it was so unexpected.
He was the anchor of that team with Spud.
This is my thing with Lionel. I think we need to start expecting more out of him because
he's a world champion. I don't know how you don't.
Right, but I don't think we should be shocked at this point.
He shouldn't be sneaking up on anybody.
Yeah, this no longer the sneak.
You want to know a stat about Ush?
Yeah.
Ush, very first trivia competition, he won. He was first. I was second. EG was third. That was when EG came in as the champion, and Ush won that one. Since then, Ush has finished second every single time in a title match. Or he's finished second every single time except that one tag that they won.
Then the
next time finished second in the tag, and every single time he's finished second, he's lost to a Lunsford.
So the odds are in good favor.
Multiple times to me. He's lost to my dad in the number one contenders match, and he lost to Laurel in the championship match. But there's no Lunsford.
So there's no Lunsford tomorrow. You hear that, Ush? No Lunsford tomorrow. Put that on a T-shirt. But there's also no points for second place. So.
Well, this
Tell
is
me about it.
fascinating. I can't
times.
wait to see how it all plays out. We will have all the teams here. We will do the coin flip. We will get everybody in the position.
You know what you should do? I just had a stroke of genius.
Okay.
You should make a study guide, not for us. This is when this is all over. Put it on Etsy or put it on some like digital seller, and I promise you would make bank. Like a general knowledge trivia study guide.
How many people throwing the challenge flags at home reading it on Etsy going, this isn't a mode of transportation.
No, but I'm not kidding. You could make bank off of that. Make it a PDF and people would purchase it.
Monetize the game?
Monetize the game.
I'll work on that. Thank you, EG,
You're
for giving me the confidence.
I'll take 5%.
Okay.
Brian brought up an interesting point in the chat about tomorrow's match.
Yeah.
Here's a study guide, by the way.
What is it, the wheel?
Oh.
Don't get the wheel.
The wheel can help you. The wheel helped Jim and Lance. There's no doubt about
And
that.
it screwed me.
And
so.
it never has helped me in Ush.
The wheel can go either way. It can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Now, Tyler, what were you going to say?
Brian brought up an interesting point about tomorrow's matchup. He says, how many of tomorrow's teams have cheated? I believe it's only one.
That's not
Now, to be
confirmed.
fair, I'm going to say
pretty sure it's
caught
only
cheating. You know, I guess I'll say
Not
caught cheating.
confirmed.
It was pretty confirmed.
So,
Is there
it's
like
on video.
authorities here?
It's on video, yeah.
John, you can speak to
Deep
this.
fake.
Ryan in the chat says, always seems like the pass option is overlooked in trivia.
It is. That was literally my strategy, and Jeff did not do it. See, we didn't need to pass this past time. Although, after I lost my 8 points, we passed to get back to even. So pass 100% works, and every time we have needed to pass, Spud and I passed. Just my former teammate did not.
What would you have liked the wheel to land on in the final question with Lance in possession of the game? What would have been like your dream scenario? Because the game was tied. So like killer combo. Killer combo only helps Jim and Lance.
Yeah,
You
no.
want it to be
Okay,
up for
then,
grabs or can be stolen.
It'd probably have to be up for grabs because then I could raise my hand quicker to get the question, which we all in the room knew.
But you could also answer wrong and
No, you can, but I mean, it's do or die at that point.
Yeah.
And I did firmly know the answer to that. That
opponent wager wouldn't have really mattered much because
if he gets it right, it doesn't matter. The thing is, I need it to either be
I think 10-point jackpot
10-point
should have been the way to go.
10-point jackpot could have been an option. I just can't win with that. Right there. I can't win
You'd
with
have
that.
to go into overtime.
There's wheel options I can actually win with right there
I think you guys needed overtime.
without him having to necessarily miss the question. That's the thing. If it's something where he still gets a chance to answer the question, it doesn't necessarily help us. Because, he could have still missed the audience help question and we could have won. It's just he landed on audience help. So it's like getting a free lifeline on the $1 million question. I think 10-point jackpot would have been okay if I was okay with overtime, which I probably would have been okay with overtime. But something like up for grabs that I could have just snatched it from him and won. That's what I would have rather done.
Well, that would have been very intriguing. It turned out to be such an interesting event. Last week's Triple Threat Trivia, literally every team at some point had double digits associated with their name. And how it all played out, I mean, that's the first time ever that's happened.
One team didn't hold on to it for very long.
One team didn't hold on to it for very long.
Yeah,
They
that was.
kind of got away from the strategy.
In 2 rounds, and the rest of us went whoop, all the way up. And
It's amazing. When I say during the game, and I say it a lot, it becomes a little bit of a nauseous thing to hear probably, but I'll constantly say during the game.
that's a wheel spin.
No, trust me, anybody can win.
Anyone's game.
It's anybody's game. Don't give up.
Because that
Anybody
wheel
can win. Because it's the
stab
truth.
you in the heart.
Anybody can win. I mean, it really is. Never count yourself out in this. So be ready for the twists and turns. How you handle the first half really doesn't matter in the second half.
Agreed.
Depending on what happens.
How you handle the first
With the
7
course of the
rounds
game.
don't really matter.
Arguable. That's going to do it for our preview of Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia. Make sure you're locked in tomorrow, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, as we get ready to light the flame and get to the game. It should be a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and tell you about a group of championship dentists in my life. Just a few weeks ago, I visited the dental team that I trust most. They're located on Grants Mill Road. That's Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian over at Alabama Dental Associates. Dr. Nolan, also there, a part of the team now. They're going to take care of you with that professional care that you'd expect. They're extremely flexible with your schedule, with those late office hours, Monday through Thursday, along with hours of availability on Friday and Saturday. If you're going, you know what, my team's not playing this weekend, but I would love to go ahead and get in the routine of that professional dental care that I've been looking for in my life, then this is the team for you. You'll love everything at Alabama Dental Associates. Make sure you try them for yourself. For more information or to make an appointment, call them at 205-956-8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you.
Bush said losing to a Lunsford is an honor. So I'm glad he respects his family that beats him every time.
Ush is actually the one that is going to lead us into our Meltdown draft with the topic today. He's been wanting this topic for a while, and it is best cereals. We'll be getting into that momentarily. But first, there's been a lot of on-screen Batman content over the past 58 years or so, but which villainous performances from characters not named Joker are considered the very best by John? We'll find out right now on Luntz's list.
What is this? What is this? Nonsense this, nonsense this, oh. What is this? What is this? Nonsense this, nonsense this, oh. Long since this to buy, long since this to buy, long since this to buy, long since this to buy.
All right, John, name your 5 favorite non-Joker on-screen Batman villain performances of all time. How did you approach this list?
So you mentioned at the beginning, movie or TV. I think when I start watching Penguin Thursday, it will not only be the first Batman show I have watched, it will be the first DC show I have ever watched.
Wow.
Because I didn't watch any of those CW shows. I hadn't watched any of the Superman shows that have existed.
That's not true,
I didn't
though.
watch...
You watched Watchmen.
That is DC, isn't it?
Yep.
That's so different than Batman, but technically,
Bingo.
I guess I did watch one DC show. Of anybody that people think of with DC.
Minus 3 points for John. E.G., would you like to pick a number now? No,
3.
That's not literature. It doesn't
So,
count.
Vertigo Comics, I believe.
DC
Oh, that's an imprint of DC.
distribute. Yeah, there you go.
So I think of it as Vertigo, not DC. That's why,
No, it's
challenge,
DC.
challenge flag. That
It's
doesn't
DC.
count. I didn't watch Peacemaker. I haven't watched. I didn't watch Gotham.
I hated Gotham.
I haven't watched.
Gotham was trash. I
haven't
I
watched.
love Batman. I couldn't get through Gotham. Ugh.
I haven't watched any animated stuff. I mean, there's like I've seen plenty of clips from like Adam West and all back in the day, but like I mean that was all before my time. I didn't sit down and like watch Batman. So anyway, so
Wham.
movie heavy on the list.
Pow. Wowza. Okay. So you're really focusing in on movies.
Correct. I did see Batman the movie, but did never watch the TV show. So anyway, movie heavy here.
Okay. That's fine.
Just letting you know if anybody's like, but you gotta put, so and so from whatever on there. It's not gonna be on there.
That could technically account for any list. You could say that before every list we do. But you didn't put so and so
Everybody
from
always
whatever.
says that, so.
This is your list.
Yeah. And the biggest reason I didn't watch Peacemaker, I like John Cena, but like I'm so out on Suicide Squad as a whole, and he is very much part of that.
It's pretty funny. The opening sequence, the title sequence,
dancing, I have
them
seen that.
dancing, and it's so good.
Yeah. Anyway,
But Peacemaker's almost the only thing that's surviving from the past era to the new era.
I have a villain in mind, and I'm really curious if it's going to make this list.
Ooh.
Kind of niche.
Ooh, niche.
But it won't be that niche when I say it. You'll be like, haha.
Raz or Raish, depending on
Correct.
which property you're watching. Yes.
Can only be really played by one person because you're not going television. So.
Yeah.
All right, you're going Liam Neeson's,
Liam Neeson.
Ra's al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul, whichever one you want to go with.
and not just in Batman Begins, so I just wrote Nolan to cover the whole thing. I thought it was a good origin story for Batman, the whole League of Shadows thing, and I thought Liam
Absolutely.
Neeson kind of being the mentor of him, the fighting back and forth, like when they're on the ice and all that. I liked all of that, and I liked kind of him not being. I'm trying to remember what he said his name was. He had like a fake name or whatever because they made Ken Watanabe Ra's al Ghul, and then he was somebody else. I don't remember. It was like
It was like Ducan?
Ducard.
Ducard.
was like
yes. He was like the
Henry
servant
Ducard or
assistant.
something like that. Yeah. Anyway, but I liked his portrayal of it. I actually watched Batman Begins this weekend in New York at night before I went to bed, and there's this woman, when they had the party with Bruce Wayne comes in, he tells everybody basically to get out, but like this old woman pulls him and is like, "Am I saying this right? Is it Raz Al Ghul?" It's the most,
Mr.
like,
Raz Al Ghul.
So like
She lives rent free in your head.
y'all are talking about the pronunciation, like, how do you actually say it? And the way she says it, it's like redneck, but it's, basically like supposed to be, a New
Southern
York
Belle,
tone. It's
sort of like
it's
inherited oil money and is
Raz Al Ghul. Anyway,
It's a great impression of that weird character that I've never thought of in the Nolan
I did just
trilogy.
happened to turn it on right at that point, not knowing that this is going to
I
be the list.
expect that she's supposed to have a monocle when she's talking that way for some
Because
reason.
the whole
I'm
point,
envisioning it.
the whole point is all those rich, socialites that come to Bruce Wayne's party, and he tells them all to go away. But anyway, and then I liked, the kind of hallucination he had in Dark Knight Rises. Obviously, I've said I'm a Dark Knight Rises person overall from that trilogy, but, he kind of has that hallucination, and he explains that, it's my offspring that's, doing this to you, and you supposed to think it's Bane, and it turns out being Marion Cotillard and all that. But anyway, I like his performance, and I thought it really worked out. And really, he's, the overall big bad, even though I feel like in The Dark Knight, you kind of get away from all that, but he's the overall big bad of kind of the Nolan trilogy.
Batman Begins is my second favorite movie of all time, and I saw it 8 times in the theater. I always say that, I think every day, once a day, and I love that movie, and it is the best Batman movie ever made because it literally is a Batman movie. I mean, it is a movie where Batman is the focus of every scene. Now, it has a little bit of a stretch there to actually get to Batman, which is a big risk of him in costume, but it is the best Bruce Wayne Batman movie ever because he is the central focus of it. It's not him being overshadowed by some sort of zany villain like what we got for so many years. Even the 89 Batman that I love, he was overshadowed by Nicholson. This is a movie where Batman's actually the central character and is the main force that connects the entire world. And I loved that that was the foundation we got, because without making him the central character of Batman Begins, as much as everybody loves The Dark Knight can't just start and go. if they don't get the Batman portion right in Batman Begins. It was a wonderful foundation, and that movie deserves even more credit. I think over the years it's gotten more and more credit. I do
feel like it's not about the villains as much as it is about Batman, whereas Dark Knight is about Joker, the third one's about Bane. Like,
you could make the argument that Dark Knight's actually about Two-Face and turning him one way or the other, and Joker, and
it is the Harvey.
But either way, it's the villains, not Batman.
But like that makes me like the villains in Batman Begins more. Like that's why Ra's al Ghul made the list, because like I just, it is a Batman movie. Like it's kind of thing, like we talk about motivation. We had a conversation last night at poker, I think. Like we were talking about how good villains, like their motivation, if you almost agree with the villain's motivation, it makes the villain that much better. Like Thanos, I 100% get where Thanos was coming from. Maybe he went about it the wrong way, but like you understand it and you respect it. I feel like a lot of people were related to like a Killmonger, which is why people liked him. Like if you understand the villain and where he's coming from, or like he's kind of got a point.
Oh.
Ultimately, that ends up making a really good villain. Not necessarily, once again, it's usually the way they go about it, but like kind of the same thing with this. I feel like you understand where he's coming from. Once again, you may not agree with it, and you're not going to try to blow up Gotham necessarily, but like that's what made a good villain.
It's you just don't want to see that monorail go away.
Yeah,
it's a really brilliant way of introducing Batman's like, I really don't want to kill to make a point. The goal is not to kill here, and Al Ghul is like, there's no other option, Bruce. You got to go with this, and obviously, it's a very. I think it's a really interesting take on Gotham as well, but that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. Let's move on to number 4 of best Batman villains not named Joker that have been on screen portrayed by somebody, according to John Lunsford.
You're talking Danny DeVito or Colin Farrell?
I think he's
We're talking Colin Farrell.
Yeah, and I think this is only going to go up after Thursday.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think it's only going to go down. I don't know that it's going to move. But
do we have the same definition of up and down here?
Like lower.
I'm saying improve. You're saying.
I'm saying.
Wow.
I don't know that it is. I just, when you get away from Batman, like we just talked about why Batman Begins is so good because it's about Batman. This is getting away from Batman, but it's still Batman. If that makes sense. Like that. If I don't really like this show, it's going to make me think less of what I saw of Penguin in the Batman, which I thought was really, really good, which is why I made the list. I feel like the Batman, I really like Robert Pattinson. Like, is he going to pass other Batmen? Maybe. He may end up at the top. I don't know by the time it's all said and done, but like I like Christian Bale better. Michael Keaton still probably fits better. Like, I think every other role in the Batman was incredibly cast though. Like, especially a lot of the secondary roles, like Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. I'm all about Jeffrey Wright. Like, that was really well cast. I thought John Turturro was very well cast. I thought Colin Farrell was very well cast. There's a lot of really, really good casting in it. The one I guess people may argue against is Zoe Kravitz, but I liked her in it too. Yeah. So that's one of the things that, like, I don't know how the Batman universe is going to play out ultimately because the movie got delayed and who knows what we're going to end up doing with the whole thing. But I thought it was a very well cast movie. It starts here because there's a reason he's getting his own show. I just don't know if I get Penguin overload, if I'm going to like it or not. I just don't know. I could see it probably hurting more than anything.
I think the toughest critic of the Penguin, which we are going to review this week, episode 1, the toughest critic of it is going to be you because of your love of The Sopranos. And you're going to constantly compare it to not only what you got in the Batman, but also The Sopranos. Because it's HBO mob and it's being
more of a mob movie
as being an updated Sopranos. So you're going to be pretty harsh on it, I think. Harsh is not the word. You're going to hold it to a certain pedigree because of how much you absolutely adore The Sopranos. So,
but strictly the Batman, which obviously is all we have actually seen so far, I thought he was very good. It doesn't look like him, obviously. The prosthetics and makeup and all I thought worked really well to create a Penguin that obviously is totally different than.
This is how good the makeup and costuming was for the Batman. There are still people today that have seen the movie multiple times that don't know that's Colin Farrell. And they will be like, when does Colin Farrell show up in this television series? I've been watching this the entire time on Thursday. There's still people who don't realize Colin Farrell is actually the guy playing the Penguin. And that's how good it is.
Colin Farrell did 3 movies in 2022, and he was nominated for an Oscar for one of them. And to me, it was by far his third of 3 performances with the Banshees of Inisherin. I thought for me, after Yang, I really, really liked, but I'd probably put it second, and then I'd probably put the Batman number one. Like, if you're going to get nominated for something, I'd rather you get nominated, I mean, for somebody like, because didn't Brendan Fraser beat him that year?
For the whale, yeah.
That's a performance that has a lot of prosthetics to go along with it. Like, I'd put Brendan Fraser and the Penguin pretty, I mean, they're two different categories because one would have to be supporting, but, like, I thought that was a performance. Like, if Colin Farrell's going to get nominated for something, I would rather him get nominated for playing Penguin as opposed to playing whatever his name was in the Banshees of Inisherin. But I thought it was perfect casting for that. I think he's good. I have really liked him, but I'm high enough that, like, I don't know if I can get higher, so I feel like it's going to go down if it goes anywhere.
Do y'all have a favorite Penguin line from the movie The Batman? Do y'all have a favorite thing that Colin Farrell says?
I feel like he does a really good job setting the tone the first time he ever speaks. When Batman's going through the club beating everybody up, and he's like, "Whoa, sweetheart, hold on." You
Hey,
know,
Chief.
like,
Hey, Chief.
he sets the tone that, like, I'm not ever going to be scared of you, but, like, I also kind of respect you at the same time. And, like, let's go to
We can
let's
work
go to my
together.
office and talk. And, like, they sit in their office and talk, and it never really gets heated. Like, I feel like Batman wants it to get heated, and Penguin kind of brings it down a little bit, but also it's a good conversation of, like, we have that mutual respect. We hate each other, but, like, we also have that mutual respect for each other.
The monologue that he delivers with Falcone, it's not really a monologue. It's more of an interruption sort of speech of, like, Falcone's being escorted out, the gig is up, and then you have Colin Farrell sort of, like, throw a jab, and then Falcone's like, "What'd you say?" And then it's very much like, "You heard me, I should kill you right now," or whatever. I didn't take the shot at it. It's all great. It sets up perfectly into where we're going here in the series. All right, let's move on to number 3. Tyler, where are you on the Penguin series? How excited are you for it? Scale of 1 to 10.
I'd say probably 7 or 8.
Yeah,
I'm fairly excited for it. I do need to go back and watch The Batman from 2022 because I've only seen it the one time.
Oh, yeah. I think that will definitely aid because this supposedly picks up right after.
Scarecrow.
I would have had this one at number 1, but that's just because I love Scarecrow as a villain.
I never cared about Scarecrow as a villain before this portrayal. Once again, just not a huge Batman person. I'm not watching the animated series and all that kind of stuff. But, like, Cillian Murphy, I think, does really good with this.
You want to see my mask? Sorry. That was
He
my...
looks really scary.
Just Cillian Murphy or a Scarecrow?
She's watching a 30-minute edit of Oppenheimer.
I was about to say, this is Oppenheimer. It's like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's him.
Ooh, I don't like that at all.
It's obviously it gets way creepier once the CGI kicks in when he sprayed somebody. But, like, even just the mask itself, I thought was a good mask. I thought Cillian Murphy did well. And one of the things I love about The Dark Knight Rises is them bringing him back for kind of a little side role of, like, he's basically the judge, jury, and executioner for putting the people on trial. And one thing I would love more than anything from that universe is a series, a movie, even just a short film of, like, what happened to Scarecrow after that. Like, the last time we see him render a verdict or whatever, like, what happens to him immediately after that? What is his story while Bane is doing what Bane is doing? Because I feel like that's, I mean, a decently major character to bring back, and it was very much just kind of like a, a little bit prolonged cameo, essentially. But, like, I'd love to see his whole story from Bane taking over, he's let everybody out of prison, through the end for him.
There's only one thing I hate about the Scarecrow arc in the Dark Knight trilogy, and that is he becomes more and more of a comic sort of punch throughout the entirety of the series. He starts off as the most menacing, scary thing that makes E.G. dump her popcorn on the ground, and then goes to just a goon that's been wrangled up, to then just like this, oh, that's kind of funny that he's issuing verdicts, haha. And you're right, you get no sort of compelling arc that goes up in strength. Like, you get one that goes down in strength.
You basically get a finish from all the villains. So, like, Ra's al Ghul dies, Bane dies, Joker, we understand. And then, like, Scarecrow gets taken off, essentially, and then you see him in Dark Knight Rises, but, like, we don't really get, like, a full kind of finish to his story arc.
Yeah.
Especially for him
really
to come back. Like, if he just didn't show up again, it's like he ended up going crazy off his own stuff, and they put him in Arkham and just called it a day.
Had the bomb gone off, we would have gotten a conclusion to that story because he would have been right there with everybody's
story.
All right, so Scarecrow,
I do like him.
Oh yeah, and I think I really got I really grew an affinity for Scarecrow playing through the Arkham games because you've got those Scarecrow boss levels. Yeah, those are great.
Gosh, those are so fun. That is, like, I would play the Arkham games with my daughter, And she would really start to get into Batman, which obviously as a dad is like the best thing ever. And I have to act like I'm totally cool with like, well, I mean, I guess if you want to watch, but like, yeah, please love this. And her favorite stuff was the Scarecrow levels. And she talked about Scarecrow all the time. I mean, she absolutely loved them. So, Tyler, you can come sit on my couch and watch me play at any point.
Well, all right.
Okay, John, let's move on to number 2. If you're not hanging out with Pavlik, of course.
Right. Riddler, I assume this is going to be the Paul Dano version.
I hope it's the Jim Carrey version.
It's not, but...
Gosh, I love both versions, but...
I do not love the Jim Carrey version.
Jim Carrey at the time was a great Riddler. At the time.
Peak Jim Carrey, too. That's just not my thing.
I think Paul Dano is great casting, just sneaky good. That guy just always looks like he's itching to ask you a riddle.
So you just brought up about how Scarecrow became kind of more of like a comic book character, more comic-y towards the end. That's what I like about this Riddler versus the Jim Carrey Riddler, is the Batman is so like rooted in reality. And I think you brought up recently about how like it's going to make it a limited group of villains you can have moving forward. And you're right. But that's also what I liked about Nolan in general. Like even the only thing that really was like outlandish was Scarecrow stuff, but it's because he sprayed you with the toxin or whatever that made you think you were seeing all the crazy stuff.
The only thing that was fantastical, you know, and League of Shadows stuff and some of that,
Once again, it was because of the stuff that the stuff they'd smell and then they go crazy. But like Riddler took it from being kind of comic-y into like a real serial killer I could see actually like existing in the world today. Like a guy who gets on TikTok and gets his audience and becomes a shooter or something. Like it's just, you've seen stuff like this, I feel like, in the real world, and that's the kind of Riddler we get here, as opposed to I'm going to beam television into your brain like you had with Jim Carrey.
There was a lot of backlash with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker before anybody had even seen the movie, saying that this was going to be the spark that lit a bunch of people up to go do heinous things. Nobody had that conversation about Paul Dano's Riddler before this movie, and I'm watching the movie going like, if there's anything I feel like leads people to that sort of spark of like commit violence for our cause, it's this more than Joker even.
And it's hard for me to see
That's a PG-13 movie.
It's hard for me to see him now as anything but like that character. Like he just has the look that fits that kind of character. Like watching The Fabelmans after that, it's like, this is the Riddler. Like this is the dude that's like gone and murdered the mayor and cut off his thumb and left puzzles and has menacing giggles and stuff like while he's doing it.
Thumb drive. Sorry.
That was kind of a goofy line when they did that.
That was a great line.
But anyway.
I love it. Speaking of goofy, Jim Carrey's Riddler. No.
So that's what I like about Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright tries to play it so straight, and then Robert Pattinson's like, thumb drive.
I believe
Jeffrey Wright's like, what the hell's wrong with you?
No, he does thumb drive. It's very much like I pieced it together, and I'm not going to deliver this with any sort of enthusiasm. I liked it. I also like that they're re-releasing Batman 89. They're re-releasing Batman Forever. They're re-releasing Batman Mask of the Phantasm, all in theaters this month. So that's awesome. I wish we would get The Batman with a wide release, obviously. It was a very limited release they were doing with special early access to some of the Penguin stuff. Once again, the Penguin debuting on Thursday, which is sort of why we're doing this list the way we're doing. And that performance making the list here, even after just a very brief entry in 2022's film.
And with, so Penguin will be a part of the larger story moving forward. But, I guess Riddler could be because he's just in jail, right? He didn't actually die. So,
there was wasn't there a deleted scene with him and Barry
Joker? Yeah,
no, it wasn't deleted. It was in the movie. It should have been a deleted scene. It was in the movie.
Oh,
there was like an extended scene with the two of them talking. Joker was in the movie, or Barry.
See, I remember him like just sitting in the corner in the movie.
It was
just
Batman.
Not doing anything.
Batman talking to Joker. That was deleted.
Two things. Number one, the Riddler and Joker scene is actually in the movie. When you go rewatch it, it's in there.
Okay.
There is a deleted Batman interrogation scene where he goes to the Joker.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
And he's between glass, and they're going back and forth. And it's not very good, to be honest. I'm glad they deleted it.
I hope Barry Keoghan is not a part of...
He will be.
Batman 2. I'm sure he will be.
He will be. He has to be.
Especially because his star has risen. Like, it's somebody else you can put in there.
I hope they keep Joker as sort of this Hannibal Lecter type character and let the Buffalo Bills of the world be the ones that are causing all the chaos. I hope that he is kept in that long legs role.
At most, that's what we need from him.
Let's move on to number 1. Sorry, I said long legs.
Yeah, please
Tyler.
don't.
Me and Tyler were he was going to come sit on my couch and watch me play Arkham, and now.
I was going to invite you to go see Mask of the Phantasm. And
So during that screening of that movie, I accidentally kicked somebody in that.
Oh.
And they looked at me and they're like, because I told them, I said, it's because I have long legs. And they thought it was hysterical.
Nice.
But I was like, Tyler would not find this to be funny at all. He would be very irritated.
Tyler just get up and walk out.
I accidentally kicked because I was stretching or whatever. And I'm like, sorry, long legs. And they're like, oh, I get it. Because we're in the movie Long Legs. And then Tyler probably was doing it out of the theater reaction, groaning on the way out. Okay, Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. I'm not shocked here.
I think everybody knew that one's coming.
My least favorite Ryan Brown impression in the history of Ryan Brown impressions.
oh, I thought you were going to say least favorite Batman villain, and I was going to agree with you until you said least favorite Ryan Brown impression.
Oh, so this is your least favorite Batman villain on screen ever?
Oh yeah, on screen, I much prefer like the old like luchador style Bane.
Got it.
As opposed to
Poison Ivy
as
Bane?
opposed to Pittsburgh.
So he is taking Poison Ivy Bane off the board ahead of Tom Hardy Bane. That's what I just heard.
Yikes. Now let me
Not
say
necessarily
this.
that performance, but that interpretation of
Now
Bane.
let me say this. What the Lenses list has nothing to do with his awful death, which I think we can all agree was an awful death. It's the performance Tom Hardy had as Bane, which I loved. I like the voice. I know they had to fix it a little bit. I like the voice. I think the airplane scene at the beginning is one of the best scenes in cinema history. Definitely one of the best openings, and he is the reason behind it. Once again, this has nothing to do with like you said villain performances, so it's very much about how Tom Hardy portrayed him and how it was, written for him. The story, there are certain aspects of the story I didn't necessarily like. I didn't like his death at the end. Nobody did, where Anne Hathaway just blows him away.
Pew pew.
And then I wish Bane had been Ra's al Ghul's kid, as opposed to trying to work in, it's actually Talia.
Yeah.
She's actually the bad person. She's been the good person this whole time, but she's actually bad. I wish it would have actually just been that it was Bane. Bane got beat down in the prison, and he turned into this hulking, like, revenge-filled, person who then went on his mission, and it was him the whole time that was just in charge.
I actually love the story the way it is. I just hate the execution. But I love the story of he's actually the protector of Ra's al Ghul's kid.
Hate that story. I would rather it be Bane, but the execution, you're right, was not necessarily the best. Now, that, to me, is a small part of the overall movie. That I don't like the end, how just that aspect of the story played out. I like how the Batman arc worked out. I like how pretty much everybody else's arc worked out. It's mostly just and I didn't hate Anne Hathaway. I just hated that one pew pew, and then kind of like, it actually was Marion Cotillard the whole time.
Explain to me, nothing pre-2005 on here. Is it a recency bias?
Doesn't do much for me. The only movie that really does anything for me is Batman 89, where it's Joker. So, like, Batman Returns, like, that Penguin and Christopher Walken, I just blanked on his name.
Max Shrek.
Shrek, that's his name. It's fine.
Donkey.
It's fine. But I think with all the Tim Burton Beetlejuice stuff, I've made it pretty clear I don't really care about Tim Burton stuff in general. And I really don't care for the Schumacher movies at all. All of those can go far away, including his Luchador Bane with the green goo flowing through him or whatever.
I'm telling you, Batman Forever has some redeemable qualities.
So I like that interpretation of Bane, not that movie though.
Batman
and I'm
Robin.
sure that Bane is more comic accurate to what Bane is. Once again, I like this kind of bringing it more into like real life. It's not big hulked up Bane with venom flowing through his veins or whatever, whatever the story was.
Venom.
What if Venom going through this from Poison Ivy and all that. So and him just being like a hulking, just dumb, bodyguard basically. Like I didn't necessarily care for that. I feel like the motivations here with Bane was a lot better and portrayed a lot better, but that's just me.
And then you have my permission to die. I can't do the voice right now for
my
some
one honorable mention would be
punishment must be more severe.
Falcone from The Batman with John Turturro. I thought that was really good.
I think Falcone from Batman Begins.
No, I think he was very good in that one too. I probably like John Turturro a little better.
You think because your mommy and your daddy got shot that you can? I mean, it's such
good.
a good monologue.
That guy's dead now, isn't he?
He is. but if you've never seen the movie In the Bedroom, oh my gosh, I've never met another soul that's ever
Sounds
seen
hot.
the movie In the Bedroom.
What's in the bedroom? I've never heard of
It's
that.
a movie about
A bed.
a
I was about to say
man
in the bedroom, huh? Yeah.
a parent. There's parents. Their son enters a broken relationship where he's sort of the rebound, and he's going to be the big bad protector of this woman against her ex-husband. And then it's in all the marketing for it. Their son gets murdered.
Ooh, yikes.
And then Tom Wilkinson, who is the actor we're talking about,
Sounded a lot better when you just said the name.
he and Sissy Spacek are dealing with a bunch of grief that their son has been killed, and they have to decide what to do about that. Whether they're going to trust the justice system, whether they're going to take it into their own hands, whether they're going to let these two reunite. But it's a really compelling movie that doesn't ever get talked about. In the Bedroom. Anyway, Tom Wilkinson, rest in peace. Great, great actor. Okay, at number 5, Raj Al Ghul. At number 4, Penguin. At number 3, Scarecrow. At number 2, Riddler. At number 1, Bane. So those are the best non-Joker Batman villain performances according to John Lunsford. So there we go. One thing that shouldn't be a villain to anyone's diet, John, that's sugar.
Sure.
Wait, what?
I'm saying that our friends at Way to Wellness have helped us bump the sugar out of our
I didn't know
lives.
if you had more going there.
Yeah.
But you can go to planforme.com and they'll teach you how to get off sugar. And you see Tim right there weighing in, me weighing in. We have dropped a lot of pounds because of Leslie and her whole board certified team. You see Leslie in the background there helping us. Go to planforme.com. You can get a plan that'll work for you, just like Tim has a plan. I have a plan. Jim Dunaway has his own plan. My dad has his own plan. We've all dropped weight. You too can too. You too can also,
You can, too.
as well. You can go to aplanforme.com and learn more about our friends at Way to Wellness, and you can look happy just like Tim right there.
Absolutely.
Leslie and her board certified team aren't the heroes you guys deserve, but the ones you need. I was trying to tie it into Batman.
Yeah, I think that works.
I think
that works. Good job, Tyler.
Yeah.
I had to think it through. I was
did.
nervous for you
Caught me
while
off
you were
guard.
saying it.
Yeah.
A lot of Hugo Strangelove in the chat.
I moved on from cereal. I was all Batman.
I love that I said Strangelove, but a lot of Hugo Strange appreciation in the chat. And we talked about
Does he
Dave
love the bomb?
Bautista would be a perfect Hugo Strange with his current mutton chop sort of look, and just you put some glasses on him that are kind of intense, and let's go for it. But that was another Robin Williams role for a long time that was being discussed, of maybe Robin Williams as Hugo Strange.
We talked about Dave Bautista being good casting for that.
Yeah.
Bro needs to work on his dialogue delivery.
So you're now against it.
Yeah,
based on the Killer's
I
Game.
have completely flipped.
Have
Okay.
you seen Blade Runner 2049?
I have not.
He's only in like the first 5 minutes of it, but that 5 minutes alone was enough for me to say he should have won an Oscar. Like, I loved it. There's a short of him too. It's called it's Another Year. It's like a prequel, basically, to set up. Denis Villeneuve did some prequels to like set up some of the characters in the movie. That's all about him. It's actually really good. He is a very good actor. Whatever that abomination of a movie was, try to block it out of your mind.
It'll fall out pretty quick.
I feel like you would like Army of the Dead too, if you haven't seen that. Didn't you love Army of the Dead?
I loved Army of the Dead. It's
It's a Zack Snyder zombie
Netflix
movie on
movie,
Netflix.
Las Vegas movie though. So
Don't
I'm
let
a
Zack
sucker.
Snyder turn you off. I feel like that was the last good thing
for
he
a
did.
second, I was thinking of Army of Darkness.
I'm gonna
That's
go.
Evil Dead, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
Evil
that
Dead.
is. I'm going to usher in a new topic here because Ush has given us this topic.
Yeah.
That's your partner in crime for Meltdown Tag Team Trivia, which we will experience tomorrow and see how that goes. I will be shocked if they're the first team out, by the way. EG and Ush. If
Shocked?
you guys don't make it to
Oh,
the
yeah, me
I have
too.
one
Final
piece of
round.
advice.
Don't get the wheel.
Don't get the wheel.
Okay. It is now time to clear the board, John, because we have another Meltdown draft. This is how it works. We are going to go 6 rounds of drafting what we consider to be the very best cereal that you can see on the shelf at the grocery store and buy currently. We have agreed that if it has been discontinued, it will not be a part of the discussion. We have agreed that generic brands, things that are only located as the store brand of something that's trying to replicate one of the main brands, will not be allowed in this. So you can't take Randomos as your, choice for your pick and then try to, pawn it off as something else. I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said other than we're going 6 rounds, and we're going to try to make sure that
There's no loopholes.
There's no loopholes.
Yeah,
way
you
I
can't
can
you can't just
swindle
pick
this.
chocolate cereal, EG.
Unless there's a cereal called Loopholes that you can buy, I don't think that we can go
The
that
first
route.
thing I said when broached this subject was, I can't argue my way out of this.
Say that, but I feel like you've got a path
I-
towards trying to be overruled at least. If you're not trying to cheat, not trying to win.
Oh
That's
my
EG's
gosh.
That's EG's mantra. Okay, I've got to
I
do
like
the
to win.
random.
We should do our Hogwarts houses one time. Can we do a Harry Potter theme something on this channel?
He doesn't watch Harry Potter.
That is correct.
Harry Potter person, aren't you?
Yeah.
Y'all can do something.
Well, yeah, I think we should.
Yeah,
And then you
awesome.
can sit here.
Me and Spud will just watch in the
Now,
corner.
when you say you're not a Harry Potter person,
Yep.
does that mean you haven't seen it, or you have tried it and you can't get into it?
I've seen the first movie all
Okay.
throughout.
Well, that was like 1990,000. Like, it's so old.
Yeah.
The best way to recruit somebody to becoming a Harry Potter fan is not to shame them when they
Well-
start to tell you about what they've seen.
I would shame you because you need to read the books.
Okay, I'll just read the books, CG. I'll get back to you in 5 years, okay?
Have
Here
you
we
read the
go.
book? Have you read the books, Tyler?
My gosh.
And in the movies. You read
Yeah.
the books in the movies. I read the books in the movies.
The books are so good.
I love the books.
It's not literature. Here we go. I am picking the random order here, and it is going to be first up,
E.g.
John Lunsford gets first choice. Tyler gets second choice.
Oh.
Third me.
EG gets
I've
third
been
choice.
third in this draft every single week.
And I get the fourth choice.
Tie.
I am team 4.
Well, that might be a lie. I think I was second one time.
Smuff, I had a similar comment about what you're bringing up.
E6.
Cut back to.
I was thinking
John,
the
right?
same thing.
John, can you space out the
took
6
care
all
of
the
it,
way?
Smuff,
Like
though.
to
Don't
where it's
worry
1,
about
2,
it.
3, 4, 5, 6 all the way down, so
It's
that way
just no store brand.
it gets too cluttered.
I kind of like the look of it though.
I'm fine with the look. Let's just spread it out because it gets so cluttered.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that's
smart,
good.
smart.
Okay, so up first is John. We're picking
here we
best
go.
cereals. Let's see where we go.
I feel an adrenaline rush. I want to win.
The audience will vote on who the winner is
That-
after it's all over.
This
and
is
we've
the
made our
thing.
pitch.
It's not personal preference. We're having to gauge the audience pick. Yeah.
Cinnamon
solid.
Toast Crunch.
So, John, why is Cinnamon Toast Crunch the first, worthy of the first overall draft pick?
This is not only an audience pick, it is also my favorite as well. When I did eat cereal, this was my go-to. It's very, very good. It has stood the test of time and it has the best milk too. Like the after you're done eating the cereal, it has the best milk, which I feel like has to factor into cereal because that's half of what's in the bowl.
Okay. Cinnamon Toast Crunch going first overall. I know that my wife would be a big fan of this pick, as she loves Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So let's go ahead and move on now to Tyler. Tyler, what are you going with first?
I don't hate your pick, John, but I don't think you got the number one overall. The cereal I chose, it just goes hand in hand with Saturday morning cartoons, feeling like a kid. You eat 3, 4, 5 bowls,
All right, let's speed it
or
up here,
however
Casanova.
many you can until your mouth can't handle it anymore. It's Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch.
That was mine.
By the way, EG called you Casanova today. Just 5 seconds
It
ago.
just felt. It's not a line. Speed it. All right, let's speed,
Speed it
Casan.
up, Casanova.
Yeah.
that-
What TV
is that
show?
from something?
Casanova
I
is
think
not
it
an
is.
insult.
How you spell it? Captain Crunch?
Captain
Yes.
Crunch.
Captain Horatio Crunch.
Rosal Crunch.
Great Family Guy bit, by the way.
Oh, gosh. One of the best animated shows of all time.
It's a Godfather bit with this, it's funny.
EG, where are we going here for your first overall draft
So
pick?
mine was Captain Crunch.
Has Ush given you a list, by the way?
No. Now I am going to start arguing here.
Wait, so Ush is giving you answers.
No, I don't have a list. Okay, so can I take Captain Crunch berries?
You can.
Yeah, Captain Crunch berries.
Captain Crunch with berries. I feel like
Are we,
what you
are
just
we talking crunch berries or oops, all berries?
did. Oh, my gosh.
Just berries, not all berries.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
There are 2 different cereals.
Okay.
Just
I feel like we're going to get close to EG trying to cheat all of a sudden. We've only
It's
got one
not,
pick
y'all.
in.
It's not cheating. It's a lack of strong perimeters from your end.
e.g. the chip draft was just anything that had a
No,
that was in a bag and you could find
No,
on the chip
no.
aisle in a gas station.
No,
or
no.
convenience. I
I will die on this hill.
We know you will.
Just like cupcakes and cakes are different. Anyways,
I'm in a great spot here, being able to pick from a lot of different things that make sense.
Are you looking up cereals as you speak?
No, I've got my short list here. Everybody can make a short list of what
Yeah,
it is.
I know. I did.
Then why are you yelling at me? Oh my gosh. So I am going to go with, I think I'm going to go with Frosted Flakes off the top here.
Ooh.
They're great, and you know it. Frosted Flakes is definitely worthy of the choice here. And it's a big question about what to go with next. But I feel like I'm going to go with oh man, this is tough because this is like really, really, really couple here that I could go between.
John, why do you look so nervous? Okay.
Not saying anything though.
It looked like you were in pain thinking about what you could choose.
This really creates the pedigree for the rest of my list here.
Let us know what it is.
I've got to go
Pedigree is
with
dog food.
I've got to go with
Kibbles and bits.
Come on.
I have to go with Lucky Charms. Give me the Lucky Charms off the list.
You can have them.
Yeah.
That's fine. Lucky Charms is a childhood staple.
Trash.
John, are you doing that thing where you write them so close together that nobody can tell what they are by the end?
You're more than welcome to write instead.
I'm just saying, like, space them out. We got 6 rounds. Space them out. That's all. See, now you're just being a jerk. Even though I think that's going to work perfect.
All right. I'm going Apple Jacks.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick. It's on my short list.
I thought you were going to pull that one.
See, now it looks like I actually took Lucky Charms in the third.
I am going to go the cereal with the best commercial ever. I gotta have my Reese's Puffs. Reese's Puffs.
Does he have to write it twice?
Oh yes. That is how the commercial sold it to me.
Okay.
Very
It's
tasty.
not raw stress for less.
EG's about to say a bowl of Butterfinger BBs with some milk on top.
Maybe.
Maybe.
All right. A couple of mine have been taken, so let me consult the old list here. I got to do 2.
Frosted Flakes and Lucky Charms. Killer combo there.
Captain Crunch berries and Apple Jacks. Pretty good.
Yeah, why not just eat fruit?
Why not?
Sorry, I'm picking cereals, EG. You're picking just,
See,
Bunch of colors.
I'm glad it worked out this way because my top 2 draft picks are my 2 favorite cereals.
Well, good.
Well, that's
Yeah, I love
Stay
Congrats.
true to yourself.
I love Captain Crunch and I love Reese's Puffs.
Well,
I'm just happy I
deal.
got them both on the team.
Frosted Flakes and Lucky Charms have similar vibes. Like they could be like siblings.
Frosted Flakes and Lucky Charms?
Yeah.
You're crazy.
No, I'm not.
They're not
They're-
similar enough to where
Yeah, they are.
totally different texture, totally
No,
different
but-
flavor
One of them has
profile.
marshmallows.
No,
One's got
y'all.
a tiger, one's got a leprechaun.
It's the coating of the sugar on the flake and then on the Cheerio and the Charms.
They both have sugar. Is that what you're combining them to?
Yes. Like they're similar to me. They're both primarily colorless, besides the Charms and Lucky Charms.
Gosh.
They could be cousins. But like Frosted Flakes and Reese's Puffs are not the same family. Raisin Bran. Wow.
No,
Gonna go with-
EG, once you get past like 30, you start getting an affinity for Raisin Bran, is what I've
Is that
noticed
what
from
you've
people.
heard? Room
That-
on the street?
Yeah,
John's
that's what I've just observed from people around me. Just
John's
like
about to
people
take-
who
Fruit Loops, there it
used
is.
to take down tricks start only
It's a
eating
good
Raisin
one.
Bran.
It's a good one.
Fruit Loops is a good choice though.
I love Raisin Bran. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is my number 1, but Raisin Bran is probably my second favorite.
By the way, your spacing between 2 and 3, John, on your list is perfect. That looks great.
Anyways,
Thank you. Question mark?
No, it's a
Lionel,
compliment.
let's hear it.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I didn't
Oh,
know.
I forgot to have music. We didn't have music.
Okay.
You can hear us
Let me
breathing
consult my
in
list
agony.
real quick.
All the colors
Ooh.
going on here.
I will take one cereal that is even better dry than it is in milk, I would argue. Honey Nut Cheerios.
Dang, that was my poll.
So good to just
was between-
snack on.
That was one of the, I was dealing. Yeah.
I was thinking. Ooh. Where do I go? Where do I go? I'm gonna go with
Tim's only picked once.
I'm gonna go. This is kind of a pull, but I think it'll pay off. Life cereal.
Do they still make live
they do.
cereal?
It's
Yeah?
good.
Okay.
It's not half bad.
Mikey likes it.
He does.
Isn't that Mikey that likes life cereal?
Mike,
They're talking about my boyfriend.
what?
No, not your Mikey, but in the commercials. Mikey likes it. Isn't that you guys?
I've
have
never
no idea.
seen
know.
this commercial.
I
Somebody
like
help
life
me.
cereal.
Good gosh.
I didn't know if you were referring to EG's Mikey or
live
or
cereal.
calling Mike Thomas Mikey.
Mikey likes it. 1972, guys. Come on. Ugh. Okay. All right, it's going to me. I got a double pick here. I am going to go with. Ooh. I'm going to go with Kellogg's Rice Krispies.
Again, like that could be in the same family as me. It's Frosted Flakes.
Well, it is both Kellogg's, so I'll give you this for the
Visual-
first time ever where you try to tear them
visually-
out. That's definitely Kellogg's Rice Krispies is definitely a go-to cereal.
One is rice and one is corn, though.
But it's like visually, I don't know. I just did that I'm grouping them. It doesn't.
Are you basing it like on
no,
the color of the boxes?
No, I'm not based on
And-
anything.
and I'm-
Just vibes.
And I'm going crazy for Cocoa Puffs. Give me some Cocoa Puffs on there. This has turned out to be a great list. Frosted Flakes.
I thought
Rice
it was
Krispies.
for Cocoa Puffs.
What did I say?
Crazy for
I
Cocoa
am going crazy and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm going for both of them. Frosted Flakes, Lucky Charms, Rice Krispies, Cocoa Puffs. This is like the animated television draft all over again. I'm getting some
All right,
juggernauts here.
I'm going. Mini wheats. Oh wait, do I have to clarify which flavor, or can I just say? I'll just do strawberry frosted.
Mini wheats?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Strawberry
Yeah, like the
frosted mini
vanilla.
wheats.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, you didn't choose Pop Tarts, even though that's my favorite bowl game in existence today.
Pop Tart cereal.
No, I just wouldn't be shocked.
Oh.
If you tried
They
to
do
pick
have
one.
Pop-Tart cereal.
People
though.
eat Pop Tarts for breakfast. This is perfectly allowed. They substitute it.
I put milk on my Pop-Tarts all the time.
Exactly.
No, do you guys put it in the oven with a little butter?
No.
No.
Okay, don't knock it till you try it. Psychos. I can't say anything in this room.
You can.
No, I can't.
You literally called us psychos. You can say anything
Yeah.
else.
There's a whole family got a song about putting butter on a Pop Tart.
Huh?
It's a thing. Butter on a Pop Tart.
Yeah, and you put it in the freaking toaster for a little bit. It'll change your life. Tired of this slander around here.
All right.
All right.
Tyler?
All right, let me go to my psycho list here.
These are crazy.
We got. Oh, this is still sitting. Give me Cocoa Pebbles. Get a little Fred Flintstone in there.
Not nearly as good as Cocoa Puffs, and you know that.
I actually like the taste of and texture of Cocoa Pebbles more than Cocoa Puffs.
They just turn to mush.
Whenever I do like a corn pop kind of cereal, I don't like the crunch of the balls. It's almost like a styrofoamy kind of texture. It's weird, but I don't like it.
Smup knows what I'm talking about. Family Guy song. cereals. I guess
I have a poll, but I don't know. You guys don't even know what it is.
Make sure they're still made.
Before we would, sometimes hit the town in Statesboro, we'd eat handfuls of, we took handfuls of Captain Crunch berries to go. And I have like pictures of us with our little bowls of Captain Crunch. I don't know why we decided on Captain Crunch berries, but hit the spot. Very transportable. Good to eat dry. I think it was actually the Walmart version of them.
Seeing if some of these are still
You're doing, John? Taking
trying
a
to make sure these are
survey
all
to
still
figure out
made.
which one's gonna win.
I ain't eaten cereal in decades. I'm trying to make sure these are all still made.
Been down a cereal aisle.
No, I don't eat cereal. Because don't know for sure if this is still made. I'm gonna try to find it. It is still made. Okay. Okay. I will go.
This fourth round pick he's going with.
Fruity. Oh, Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Frosted something or other. Frosted Cheerios. Yeah, those still are a thing. Yep. Blue box, I believe.
I did eat Frosted Cheerios back in the day. They're legit. It's like healthy Cheerios, but you get the frosted, like a Frosted Flakes. So like you're healthy and getting sugar.
Tyler, you get to pick in the fifth round here.
Let me double check my list. Let's see. Oops is already taken. Apple Jacks is already taken.
I'm gonna struggle on my last one.
I feel very confident about my list.
Got Cocoa Pebbles.
Very, very confident about my list.
Give me the cereal that is pretty much not even cereal. It's just dessert. It's Cookie Crisp.
It's a great choice.
Did I steal your last one?
You definitely stole one of the ones I was looking at.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
But Cocoa Puffs was too valuable to not take off the board.
That's fair.
All right. I'm going to go with, round it out. This is a pull. Honey O's cereal. You know what I'm talking about?
That is a cereal.
So good. It has little like clusters in the Cheerio situation. It's delicious.
Honey O.
Honey O's. Graham cracker. So good.
All right, next up, I want Corn Pops.
Ugh.
That is a great answer.
I'm with John.
Corn Pops is a great answer. And I
Garbage taste.
want. Ready for this one? Could be the steal of the draft. We're gonna have to see here. Count Chocula. Give me some Count Chocula here on the list. Let's go, Count Chocula.
Count Chocula was on my list. I ended up going for Cocoa Pebbles instead. But I do like Count Chocula.
All right, I'm going to round us
Chocula.
out with a classic.
Box scares John.
A classic that all of your moms ate. And sometimes it's just good. Special K.
Special K.
Yeah, I never did ever see a regular K. You bring up a good point.
Special K.
Mom jeans.
You know what? I need some fruit type cereals on my list. So there's one I'm thinking of going with. Tricks.
Can't have that one. Tricks are for kids. Oh, the lovable boy Tyler. Yeah, tricks are for kids. That makes sense.
All right, I think for my last one, I thought about doing this last time. I'm going to go...
If you're going the way I think you're going, you're taking a really good one.
Oh, yeah, Golden Grams. That is a good pick. Dang, I thought I had Golden Grams on
Tyler,
my
this
list.
is your last choice here.
Oh.
Oh, we're done.
No, we're done.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
We're done.
We've all got 6.
I'm sorry. I guess the way the board was formatted, it confused me here because there's perfect spacing.
John,
over
you
here.
didn't space it out enough.
Perfect
You- or
spacing
too
over
much.
there.
Some people pick tricks, and then some people pick strawberry frosted mini wheat. That's a little different.
Okay. Whoa.
Wow.
See, I kept all mine except for Honey Nut Cheerios to 2 words or
Yeah.
less.
I didn't know that was a specification.
Okay, so
I remind
this
bigger
is the
'cause they're
point
better.
where John is going to put some numbers next to the names, and then I'm so sorry. We do this every time the same way. I hate that I've thrown this on.
I'm going to
you.
rewrite it all before I do it.
If you don't mind,
Hell no.
okay. So John is team 1, Tyler is team 2, EG is team 3, I am team 4. We need you to rank from what you consider to be best to worst, all 4 choices, and put that in the chat. But while you're thinking about your ranking, and once you make your vote, it's final, we are going to make our cases as to why our lists are the best. So at least hear us out. John, talk about your list and why it's the best.
All right, my list. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the number 1 pick. Not even remotely close. You can stop the list right there, and I would have already won. However, you need a little health. You need 2 scoops in your life. And so if you want to eat a little healthier, go for Raisin Bran. And when you do hit that older age, then you definitely have to have some Raisin Bran and have those 2 scoops of raisins. Number 3, Fruit Loops, a classic. Follow your nose. They spell it wrong, but you know it's okay because it's more fun and playful with 2 O's in the word fruit, just like loops.
It's my
Number
favorite
4.
argument you've ever made.
Number 4, Fruity Pebbles. Not my cup of tea, but you know what? If you want to have that fruity taste, Fruity Pebbles is a way to go. Number 5, Frosted Cheerios. You want the healthy Cheerios. You can have that, but with a little frosted sugar on top to help with the flavor. It's basically like Frosted Flakes, but better. And then number 6, the steal of the draft, and the absolute last pick, Golden Grams. I mean, who doesn't like Golden Grams? Easily the best list because I wanted it at number 1 before we ever went anywhere else because Cinnamon Toast Crunch is by far better than everything else.
All right, Tyler, make your argument as to why your cereal list is the very best as we have those votes rolling in.
All right. So Cinnamon Toast Crunch is a good first choice, but I would always prefer to have Captain Crunch because it is just a crunchy sweetness and goodness that you can enjoy through the
Cuts the roof of your
entire
mouth.
Saturday morning cartoon block. Next up, Reese's Puffs. Everybody loves the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. It's what you think of when you think peanut butter and chocolate. Why don't you want that in your cereal? They nail it.
I don't.
Finally, not finally, but next up, you got Honey Nut Cheerios. You gotta have a
Classic.
little bit of health, a little lower cholesterol in your life. Get some honey and nut.
Could
in
just
there.
take some vitamins, but yeah, that'll work.
Well, your
Cereal's
your
more
list
fun.
needs some vitamins.
You're right. I should have drafted fish oil tablets.
Flintstone multivitamins.
At least have raisins. Raisins are good.
Next up, Cocoa Pebbles, the superior chocolate cereal. Get those Cocoa Puffs out of here. Cocoa Krispies, off-brand Cocoa Pebbles. They have the best texture, make the best milk. It's the number 1 chocolate cereal. Next up, the opposite of a healthy cereal, Cookie Crisps. It's just milk and cookies. You're gonna seriously look at me in the face and tell me you don't like milk and cookies? And then finally,
Not for
finishing it up
breakfast.
with some fruity goodness. It's Trix, just for kids because it's so fruity and delicious and fun to eat.
All right. EG, you can go ahead and approach now while your
thank
list
you.
is the very best. You've gotten a couple first place votes already.
Thank you. So my list was designed with the audience in mind. And I think that we're going to start with Captain Crunch berries. While there is an element that hurts the roof of your mouth, it's one of those things that takes you back to your childhood. I think the berries add a nice element of flavor that you miss with the original Captain Crunch. No offense, Tyler. Then Apple Jacks. It's a different taste on the palate. I wouldn't say it's a savory element, but the cinnamon adds something a little different that you don't often get in a cereal. Moving on to Life. When you don't want the dyes, the artificial, you want something that's good, it's satisfying, little bit of sweetness, not too crazy, somewhere between a Raisin Bran and a Frosted Cheerio, if you will. You get the best of both. Then moving on to Strawberry Frosted Mini Wheats. My pick here is when you need some fiber. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and sometimes you just don't want all that sugar. You're getting fiber in your diet. Wheat is very good for you. The strawberry has a nice little flavor there. And then moving on to Honey O's, a guilty pleasure if you've ever had it. It is delicious. It is not going to be something that sticks with your diet, but that's okay. You need something like that on my list. Wrapping up with Special K. Special K has been a staple in your pantry since 1994. It's not going anywhere. There's been great variations of it as well. They have grab and go, but you will grow if you eat Special K because it has all the nutrients in it. Grab and go options. And overall, I think I have the most well-rounded any craving. I am missing some chocolate, but in the morning, my picks are the way to go. Thank you and good night.
Okay. First off, I want to thank everybody in the chat who's already putting me first because I believe I have 5 first place votes and a number of second place votes. So I really do appreciate all the early support. But let me make my pitch as to why my list is indeed worthy of that level of support that you guys have shown. Once again, I am Team 4 going for my 4th draft win, and this pitch to you may seal it. Frosted Flakes, there's no way that I should have had that available to be drafted at the end of the first round. It should have been taken off the board. If not first, second. If not second, third. If not third, guess what? Our team is going to propel to victory with Frosted Flakes leading the way. It is the cereal GOAT, in my opinion. Lucky Charms, you follow it up with, unlike what EG said, a completely different flavor profile, a completely different texture, a completely different mascot. You never would even confuse those two boxes sitting next to one another.
They're just in the same family. They're like cousins.
I hate to pull a Trump to Kamala here, but please, can you just let me talk here? Thank you very much.
Proceed.
I appreciate it very much. But there's no doubt Lucky Charms, it is something that is a part of just pop culture iconic imagery of that leprechaun tempting you with his little bag of gold and his little bag of cereal.
It's an
And
odd visual. Sorry, I apologize.
I am speaking. Please, I am speaking. How many more times is this going to happen?
Yeah, you're good.
Did I speak during yours?
No, you did not. Proceed.
This is how good my list is. They feel like they have to undercut me while I'm making the argument as to why it's the best. Rice Krispies, come on now. Every continental breakfast in the history of hotel chains has some Rice Krispies for you to enjoy in the morning. And guess what? Your kids love them. Your grandmas love them. Your aunts love them. Your uncles love them. I mean, it is fantastic. I would love to know how much hotel chains lose in putting out my top 3 cereals every single year in profits because these 3 are consumed so rapidly. Number 4, Cocoa Puffs. Man, I go cuckoo for some Cocoa Puffs.
There you go. You got the one right.
I go crazy for some Cocoa Puffs. They're continuing to have to interrupt me because they ain't me. Okay? And I'm telling you, Cocoa Puffs is the perfect chocolate punch to my list that everybody knows that they need. Corn Pops, superior to Captain Crunch. I'm sorry, but it's the truth and everybody knows it. I'm here to say the really tough, hard-hitting commentary. Corn Pops better than Captain Crunch, which both of these jokers led with and left me Frosted Flakes. And at the end, it's a little bit of a spooky season. I'm going to be honest, that played a little bit into my final pick here, but everybody loves the old school advertising. Everybody loves the iconic imagery of some Count Chocula, and a perfect way, I think, to fly away with a batty win here at the end with my pitch. And I appreciate each and every one of you that have put me in here to carry my 4th win. And I thank you so much. So I'm going to any remaining time, I'm going to yield it.
You're far from running away with it.
I'm not running away, but I'm in the lead.
Nick brings up that Rice Krispies is the only cereal to have a snack made out of it. I would argue that because they're giving you other recipes on the box, they know their cereal's trash. You got to put in marshmallows and sugar in with it.
Just Rice Krispies isn't worth anything.
Are you guys done?
Yeah,
Trying to take down the clubhouse leader? Here are the people who absolutely are rallying around. We do want to remind you that if you're not able to participate in the live chat to vote, that we would love for you to vote there in the comment section. You can just lay them out. The numbers are up there once again with this shot of the list. Team 1 is John, Team 2 is Tyler, Team 3 is EG, Team 4 is me, and we appreciate you voting with your heart here on the Meltdown. If you thought today was competitive, tomorrow, ooh,
It's going to get crazy.
things get real.
Woo!
Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia happening live tomorrow in the TNR Arena, and we are excited about that. John, I don't know, can you get odds at our title sponsor, MyBookie?
No, they haven't quite recognized Triple Threat Trivia because of the wildness of the wheel, but you know what? We'll get there eventually. You can go to mybookie.ag, use promo code next round, get the first deposit bonus on us, and bet on the sportsbook, play in the casino, play in the live casino, mybookie.ag.
All right, that is going to do it for us here on the Meltdown. Once again, keep those votes rolling in there in the comment section. We appreciate it, and we will tally those up and let you know exactly who won, but it was a strong showing, I think, from all different
it's a
competitors.
1-point game now.
All right, let's go ahead and
What's the standings?
Right now, Tim has 35 points. I have 34. Tyler has 29. EG has 22.
Wow, guys, come on.
you're right.
Come on,
You
guys.
guys need to rally around EG first, me second.
Thank you.
Tyler third, John fourth.
Stop that.
All right, that's going to do it here for the Meltdown. We're all very competitive. It's all a fun
Peddle
time.
your flakes of rice somewhere else.
Okay, that's what I will do. We're going to end this before we fight on air, and that's going to do it for us here on the Meltdown. Join us again tomorrow, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.